Tamar Braxton is once again at the center of drama, and this time the storm is louder than ever. Her ex-assistant, Letroy Davis, has stepped into the spotlight and decided to call out none other than Funky Deneva. At the same time, Tamar has shocked her fans by announcing that she's canceling her long-awaited album release, saying she's done with the music business and moving to a farm. The situation is messy, emotional, and layered with receipts, accusations, and years of unresolved tension. For years, Tamar has been in the headlines for not just her music, but also for her personal struggles, her reality TV moments, and her complicated friendships. But now, the narrative has shifted again, because this feud between Funky Deneva and Tamar has grown beyond a small misunderstanding. It has turned into a public spectacle. The way both of them have been handling things has fans questioning who's really telling the truth and who's just trying to protect their brand. And right in the middle of it all comes Letroy Davis, Tamar's former assistant, who has decided he's had enough of Funky Deneva's mouth and hypocrisy. Let's start with the heart of Tamar's shocking announcement. Tamar Braxton, a Grammy-nominated singer and reality TV star, told her fans recently that her new EP will no longer be released. The announcement didn't come quietly either. It was filled with emotion, regret, and a hint of finality. Tamar claimed that after everything she's been through, after being accused of staging drama and using health scares as publicity stunts, she's officially over it. She said she is canceling her album, walking away from the spotlight, and heading to live a quiet life on a farm. Her words were chilling because she didn't just say she was canceling the album, she said fans would never hear from her again. That's not the type of statement someone makes lightly, and it left her followers divided. Some people were immediately concerned, remembering Tamar's past struggles with mental health. They worried that this was another cry for help. Others, though, were skeptical, saying Tamar has a pattern of making dramatic declarations, disappearing, and then returning with new projects. For them, this felt like a cycle they've seen before. Big claims, emotional breakdowns, followed by a comeback. But this time, Tamar sounded serious. She apologized to her fans, said she was done, and made it clear she was tired of the games. The timing of all this makes it even more complicated, because her fallout with Funky Deneva has been going viral at the same time. Funky Deneva, known for his unfiltered commentary and messy shade, inserted himself into Tamar's personal business after her near-death scare. Tamar had shared that she woke up in a pool of blood with serious injuries, broken nose, missing teeth, and more. It was a shocking post, but many people online didn't believe her story. They accused her of exaggerating, even lying, just to promote her album and film project. Instead of offering her support, Funky Deneva joined the crowd of skeptics and delivered some of the harshest words. On social media, Funky mocked Tamar, calling her a toothless muppet and questioning why she wasn't somewhere recovering. If her injuries were that bad. His words cut deep, not just because of what he said, but because Tamar once considered him a friend. Fans were stunned that someone she had been close to would go so far as to publicly drag her while she was claiming to be at her lowest point. This sparked debate online. Was Funky simply defending himself because Tamar's post made it look like he was involved, or was he showing his true colors as someone who had been waiting for the right time to humiliate her? Now here's where Letroy Davis enters the picture. Letroy is not new to Tamar's world. He used to be close to her as her assistant, and during his time in her camp, he had his own run-ins with Funky Deneva. Funky had once accused Letroy of being cut off from Tamar's inner circle, implying that he no longer had access or relevance. Funky painted him as someone who was desperate for attention and no longer part of Tamar's trusted team. But now, in 2025, Letroy has decided to fire back. He released a video where he compared how Funky treated him years ago to what Funky himself is experiencing now. And y'all, the irony is wild. Letroy pointed out that when Funky dragged him, Funky claimed he was exiled from the island, ignored by Tamar's team, and desperate to get back in. But now, Funky himself is in the same position. Funky admitted recently that he's been trying to reach out to Tamar's crew, texting and calling, but nobody is answering him. He's being iced out, and Letroy couldn't resist highlighting the hypocrisy. Letroy basically said, "You mocked me for being cut off, and now look at you. The same thing is happening to you." That's karma hitting back, and Letroy delivered. It with receipts and side-by-side comparisons of Funky's past words and his current reality, But Letroy didn't stop there. He reminded viewers that Funky had mocked him in the past when he said he was being dragged online. Back in 2023, Letroy complained about being beaten down both publicly and privately, and Funky made fun of him for being weak. Fast forward to today, Funky himself is crying about being dragged nonstop on TikTok, YouTube, and social media. The same man who laughed at Letroy's pain is now begging for sympathy. Letroy made it clear. Funky Deneva is a hypocrite who dishes it out, but can't take it when the heat is turned on him. This is where the story gets even messier. Letroy brought up how Funky demanded receipts and police reports from him back in 2023, accusing him of exaggerating situations. Funky insisted that unless there was an arrest or police involvement, the story didn't matter. But now, Funky is involved in situations where police reports do exist, and Letroy didn't hesitate to throw that back in his face. It's like everything Funky once criticized Letroy for is happening to him now, and Letroy is living for the irony. The back and forth has fans split. Some people are Team Funky, saying he's just brutally honest and calls things as he sees them. Others are Team Tamar, believing she's being unfairly bullied during a vulnerable time. And then there's a growing group of people saying Latroy Davis is the only one being real, because he's exposing Funky's double standards with hard evidence. What makes this feud so explosive is the personal history behind it. Funky Deneva wasn't just some random commentator talking about Tamar. He was someone who partied with her, spent time with her, and was considered part of her circle. That's why his words hit harder. Tamar never directly named him when she shared her near-death story, but he felt the need to defend himself anyway, which made people wonder if he was guilty about something. If she never accused him, why did he jump up so fast to clear his name? And why did he do it by mocking her instead of showing concern? Another layer to this story is Tamar's history of using social media to make dramatic announcements. Fans have seen her declare she's quitting before only to return. She shared emotional breakdowns online, asked for prayers, and then shifted to new projects soon after. That's why some people don't believe she's really done this time. But the difference now is that her credibility has taken a major hit. Too many people think she cried wolf too many times, and when she posted about almost dying, the skepticism was immediate. It's painful because if Tamar truly did go through a terrifying experience, she didn't get the compassion she might have needed. Instead, she was mocked and doubted. And then there's the question of mental health. Tamar has openly discussed her struggles in the past, but critics argue that she sometimes uses mental health as a shield when things get messy. They feel like she leans on it to deflect criticism, which only makes it harder for people to take her seriously. That's part of why her latest announcement about moving to a farm and disappearing didn't land the way she may have expected. Instead of sympathy, she got more side-eyes. Meanwhile, Funky Deneva has been exposed as arrogant and hypocritical. In past interviews, he bragged that he doesn't watch other YouTubers or podcasters because none of them are worth his time. He positioned himself as smarter and more important than everyone else. But now, the tables have turned. Other creators like Armin Wiggins have dragged him, and Letroy Davis is exposing him with side-by-side comparisons. Funky wants grace when he's under fire, but he never offered that to others. That contradiction is making it hard for fans to defend him. The irony of all this is clear. Letroy Davis, someone Funky once dismissed, has now become a voice of accountability. Tamar, someone who once saw Funky as a friend, now sees him as her biggest critic. And Funky himself, the king of messy commentary, is finally on the receiving end of the same treatment he built his career on. It's poetic justice, and Letroy made sure to say that when you pick fights, you never know how they'll come back to haunt you. As for Tamar's future, only time will tell if she really walks away. Will she stay on that farm in peace, or will she eventually return to the stage, the cameras, and the spotlight? History suggests she might come back, but her words this time sounded heavier. Maybe she really is tired. Maybe she's finally at a breaking point. Or maybe, just maybe, this is another chapter in the cycle. What's undeniable is that Tamar, Funky Deneva, and Letroy Davis have given fans one of the most dramatic sagas of the year. Friendships turned into feuds, accusations turned into insults, and now receipts are flying everywhere. It's messy, it's dramatic, and it's the kind of story people will be talking about for weeks. Tamar Braxton is once again caught up in chaos, and this time, the drama has reached a boiling point. Her former assistant, Latroy Davis, has stepped in to call out Funky Deneva in a way that fans did not see coming. At the same time, Tamar herself shocked her supporters by announcing that she is canceling her much-anticipated album and walking away from music altogether. She even said she's done with the industry, moving to a farm, and that fans may never hear from her again. But if you followed Tamar over the years, you know this is far from the first time she's been in the headlines for a public fallout. From her rocky marriage with Vincent Herbert, to her emotional breakdowns on reality TV, to her strained relationships with her own sisters, Tamar has always been at the center of storms that seem to follow her wherever she goes. This latest drama with Funky Deneva and the way Letroy Davis jumped into the fire feels like the continuation of a long pattern. Let's start with Tamar's shocking recent announcement. After posting that she had nearly died, claiming she woke up in a pool of blood, missing teeth, with a broken nose and injuries, Tamar was met with skepticism instead of compassion. Many fans accused her of exaggerating or faking the situation for attention. Some even said it was all a publicity stunt to promote her upcoming EP and film project. The backlash was brutal, and instead of support, she was ridiculed online. That pain seemed to push her over the edge because soon after, she declared that the album was canceled and that she was done with music altogether. Her exact words to fans were that she was leaving, moving to a farm, and would never be heard from again. It wasn't just the announcement that stunned fans. It was the tone. Tamar sounded broken, fed up, and defeated. She apologized to everyone, saying she was sorry for everything. For longtime followers, it was heartbreaking but also familiar, because Tamar has made similar declarations before. She's walked away, said she was done, and then eventually returned to the spotlight. That's why so many people don't know whether to take her seriously this time. Now. Let's talk about Funky Deneva's role in all of this. Funky is a YouTuber and media personality known for his unfiltered commentary. Tamar once considered him a friend, but after her near-death scare, Funky didn't respond with compassion. Instead, he went on social media and mocked her. He called her a toothless muppet, questioned her story, and implied she was using tragedy for attention. To many, it felt like betrayal. To others, Funky was just being funky, messy, shady, and brutally honest. But for Tamar, the sting cut deep because she had trusted him. What makes Funky's actions even more controversial is that Tamar never named him in her original post. She never pointed the finger or accused him of anything. Yet, Funky felt the need to defend himself, as though her words were aimed directly at him. This left people wondering, why did he react so strongly? Was it guilt, or was it simply his way of staying ahead of the conversation? Either way, his harsh words against Tamar caused a firestorm. This is where Letroy Davis comes into the story. Letroy, Tamar's ex-assistant, has had his own history with Funky Deneva. Years ago, Funky dragged Letroy online, accusing him of being cut off from Tamar's circle, no longer relevant, and desperate for attention. Funky painted him as a hanger-on who had been iced out by Tamar's team. But now, Letroy has flipped the script. He recently released a video where he highlighted Funky's hypocrisy By comparing Funky's words from back then to his situation today, according to Letroy, Funky used to laugh at him for being exiled from the island and ignored by Tamar's crew. But now Funky himself admits he has been texting and calling Tamar's team, only to be ignored. The same situation Funky once mocked Letroy for is now his own reality. Letroy pointed this out with receipts, saying that karma had come full circle. Letroy also reminded fans that when he was being dragged online back in 2023, Funky mocked him, saying he was weak for complaining. But now, Funky is crying about being dragged non-stop on TikTok, YouTube, and across the internet. Letroy didn't hold back. He made it clear that Funky can't take the same energy he's been giving others for years. The hypocrisy, according to Letroy, is undeniable. Letroy even went further, reminding people how Funky once demanded police reports and legal proof from him when drama surrounded Tamar's camp. Funky claimed that unless there were official records, the story didn't matter. But now Funky himself is in situations where police reports and arrests exist, and Letroy couldn't resist throwing that double standard back in his face. The irony is heavy, and Letroy reveled in pointing it out. For fans, this back and forth feels like one more messy chapter in Tamar's already turbulent journey. Because if we look back at Tamar's past, it's clear she's no stranger to scandal. One of the biggest turning points in her life was her marriage to Vincent Herbert. The two had a relationship that played out on reality TV, first with Tamar and Vince and later on Braxton Family Values . At first, they were seen as a powerhouse couple. Tamar with her music career, Vince as a successful manager and producer. But behind the scenes, things were falling apart. Tamar accused Vince of abuse during their marriage. In 2017, she filed for divorce, claiming that Vince had been unfaithful and physically abusive. Police reports even showed there had been domestic violence incidents, including one where Vince allegedly bit Tamar's hand during an argument. Their divorce was messy, with accusations flying in every direction, and it took years before it was finalized. For Tamar, that chapter was traumatic, and it left her fans deeply concerned for her well-being. Around the same time, Tamar also began having public fallouts with her sisters. On Braxton Family Values viewers saw her clash with Tony, Tracy, Tawanda, and Trina over and over again. While some of it was normal sibling rivalry, other moments were explosive and emotional. Tamar often stormed out, cut off communication, and even accused her sisters of not supporting her. The family dynamics were tense, and Tamar's dramatic exits from the show only fueled more gossip. Her career also faced challenges. After being fired from the real Asterisk in 2016, Tamar was devastated. She claimed she was blindsided and betrayed, especially since she thought her co-hosts were her friends. That firing sent her into a deep depression and added to her feelings of isolation. She later said she felt like everyone was against her and that she couldn't trust anyone in the industry. Then came her mental health struggles. In 2020, Tamar made headlines when she was rushed to the hospital after what was reported as a suicide attempt. She was found unresponsive in her hotel room, and it was a terrifying moment for her fans. Tamar later admitted she had been struggling with depression and feeling like she was being exploited by reality TV producers. She said she felt trapped and powerless, and that moment nearly cost her life. It was one of the darkest chapters in her journey, and it left fans praying for her recovery. But even after that, Tamar didn't stay away from the spotlight. She returned to television, music, and social media, often with bold announcements and emotional posts. Yet each time she shared something dramatic, fans began to notice a pattern. Tamar would declare she was quitting, then return. She would post about breakdowns, then reappear with new projects. This cycle made people skeptical, and unfortunately, it made her cries for help harder to believe. That's why, in 2025, when Tamar said she nearly died and was canceling her album, people didn't know what to believe. Was it another chapter in her cycle? Or was this truly the end of her music career? Her history made it complicated. and the lack of trust from fans only made the backlash worse. And standing in the middle of this storm is Funky Deneva, a man who has built his brand on being messy and unfiltered. The problem is, Funky has always been quick to dish out shade but slow to accept criticism. His arrogance has rubbed people the wrong way for years. In interviews, he's boasted that no other YouTubers or podcasters are worth his time. He's dismissed other creators, acting as if he's above them. But now, with Letroy Davis dragging him and other commentators like Armin Wiggins calling him a joke, Funky is finally being served the same energy he's given to others. It's poetic justice in many ways. Funky used to laugh at Tamar's struggles. He mocked Letroy's pain. He dismissed critics as nobodies. But now, the tables have turned, and he's the one being laughed at, mocked, and dragged. And Letroy made sure to remind him that when you pick fights, you never know how they'll come back. The internet never forgets, and karma always catches up. For Tamar, though, the story is far from over. Her fans are left wondering if she will truly disappear to that farm, or if she'll return once again with new music, a new project, or a new reality TV deal. Some hope she really takes the